Hello, everyone. Today, we're very happy to bring you the Redmond 2023 Redmond Cup broadcast. My name is Albrian Aitan. I'm really honored to be joined by Mateusz Surma, two-time professional from Europe.
Hello.
Yeah, so the Redmond Cup, in case you don't know, is the longest running youth tournament in North America. Hello, everyone. Today, we're very happy to bring you the Redmond 2023 Redmond Cup broadcast. My name is Albrian Aitan. Really honored to be joined by Mateusz Surma, two-time professional from Europe. Yeah, so the Redmond Cup tournament, don't know, is the longest running in North America. 1 second. Technical difficulty, we've heard.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulty at the start. But as mentioned, Redmond Cup is the longest standing youth tournament in America, and there are two divisions, the junior and the senior. Today, we'll be focusing on the senior division, which is include players from age 13 to 17. The junior division includes players 12 and under, and there's also a concurrent Girls Cup, which involve girls under age of 16. Okay. Yeah, I'm honored to come back as a former winner of Redmond Cup from 2015. I also did commentary last year, and always really happy to see how strong the young players are playing now and to see what's going on. They will be my opponents maybe this week or definitely in the future. Yeah, and
Yes.
with that, I think we'll just dive right into the game. So right now we have the senior game open right now. So the black is Tony Yang. Maybe his older brother Kevin is more famous, the most recent North American pro, and he has been doing very well in professional tournaments recently. His little brother Tony is also very strong. He won the U.S. Open 6-dan division last year, and he's on a roll recently. Oh, so there's a question from the chat. So the senior, all three boards today are youth tournaments. The senior divisions are are seniors in the youth division, which means they're age 13 to 17. And the junior division is 12 and under. There's still a little echo. I think we're still having a little echo and technical difficulty, so it might take a minute to sort out.
Which one do you have this on your?
I think I do. Okay, we'll just restart. Okay. Yeah, so senior
Echo isn't bad.
Echo isn't bad. Okay, great. So we introduced Black Tony. He won the 6-dan U.S. Open last year. He's back to playing in the U.S. Open as a 6-dan. And Shengda, he's on a roll recently as well. He won the Canadian Open last year, beating a field including 7 and 8-dans. Okay, great. And then I think the game is going reasonably fast. We're only about half an hour in, and they're already 60. They play 60 moves. Just go from the start. I think they play a couple of Seina Josekis.
Yes.
So we'll scroll through the opening. Nothing too notable here. I'll say they both are relatively balanced. And we can see that Black played the high approach. That avoids a lot of complicated variations. So the opening is greatly simplified after even just one corner. So this is also not too notable. I think that the attach is an interesting move. It's also a very common AI Joseki nowadays.
Yeah, it's one of the options.
Black can also choose a Hane from the bottom. In that case, black will take more points.
Yeah, white just plays at C13, right?
Yes, so I guess it's easy when you attach. Where whenever they Hane, you'd find a double Hane. I think that's generally a good place to play. So I think the variation is something like this.
Yeah, and extend and then cut.
This is a one basic variation. So it might become something like that. And it's also possible for black to Atari once. But I think most of the time, this is also another possibility. But I guess the simplest variation is just this. So black gets a corner and has a influence toward the upper side, and white has a small group on the left. In the game, they play a different variation where white takes a corner. I think the first time seeing this shape, it looks very strange.
Yeah.
Because you're giving black a Panuki. Black has a very strong shape. White is kind of alive in the corner, and there's this very strange ko.
Yeah,
Here.
it's just if thinking on the other side, there were two stones, right? There were two black stones on the start. It's not just a one stone and then approach. So black has two stones more.
Yes, that's a good point. So we started out as a Shimari, and then in the end, black plays the last move. So white has Sente here. So basically, white gets a Sente live group in the corner. The trade-off is black has a very, very strong thickness on the outside.
And later with the score, it's just very complicated.
Yeah, so I just briefly touch on it. Let's say white Tenuki, and then black captures a ko. This is still a ko. So if white Tenukis again, there's no easy way for black to capture this group.
Yes.
So let's say black plays here. It is still a ko. You might think that black can play here, which is true. But in this case, white can just sacrifice. I think this is a very interesting variation to know. Your opponent might play it at some point. So the corner is dead, but white has a ton of forcing moves in this area. So the exact sequence is not too important at this point, but white can just Tenuki here again. So the idea is that black gets some points in the corner, but there's still a lot of forcing moves. So in case black do something here, white can have a lot of forcing moves because of the F16 cut Aji.
Yeah, so white already got 3 Tenuki, and plus still black cannot really attack these two stones on the top so fiercely.
Yes, so if you think, yeah, the corner was already black to begin with. It was 2 stone Shimari, and then white Tenuki 3 times. So it's essentially like a 5-move investment in the top left. So it's actually not very efficient for black to play like this. So moral of the story is the ko will continue, most likely. Another way for black to continue the ko is this. And if white connects and black Hanings here, this is a dead shape. So white will capture and the ko will continue. And if black starting the ko this way, because if white manages to win the ko, black loses fewer points. So just a little technical detail, but very useful. So when you have this shape, I think this really challenges the player's positional judgment because the timing of this ko is very important. In the opening, this ko is not so big, maybe not urgent.
Yeah, and there are usually not so many ko threats.
Right, because winning this ko requires several ko threats from both sides. If white starts a ko, black can extend its a local threat, and the white has to Atari again, maybe here or even F19, depending on number of threats. So white need at least 2 more ko threats than black. So both sides need a lot of ko threats. But in the late game, this ko will be very big because either way, it will be probably around 20 to 30 point swing, even though it takes a few moves to capture.
Yeah, the next thing is that if somebody will begin cutting there, then in case this person who cuts loses the score, he loses a move, right?
Yes.
This F18 in this case is just nothing. So white loses a move in like comparison with not playing there and black just captures.
Yeah, so this is a very important point. So we usually, when we start a ko, we want to be sure we win it. Otherwise, we have committed a move and wasted it. In this case, the F18 stone. If you Tenuki, white can basically place that stone somewhere else. Yeah, there's no reason why we'll play here. scroll up. This is the game variation. Oh, no. Yeah, here's the game. So in this game, white took center in the top left and then decided to continue invading the left side. I kind of think white can also just jump.
Yeah, this looks normal. Like this move there on the fourth line at D8. Like it looks like,
Oh, sorry about that. Looks like white wants to attack.
yeah, but there is this ko on the top. So
Oh, I
if
keep
white
going
plays,
around. Yeah, this is a very game variation.
yeah, after this move, when black just cuts white, white will need to struggle probably with making their two eyes. So at the same time, this corner might be dead.
Yeah,
This
so
top left.
after this exchange, this hurts the corner a little bit.
Yeah.
White will try to settle here. I think it's one strategy, but usually this type of move is more towards attacking the black corner.
Mm.
So I think it's probably acceptable too, but I think if you prefer a simpler way, the jump is perfectly fine. So if black just try to extend the side, it's a perfectly reasonable shape. And white is already also developing the bottom. And if you just press a couple more moves, black is just getting territory on the third and fourth line. Is pretty acceptable for white. Maybe he's worried more about something like this.
At the same time, when white plays there and black gets points on the left, white gets points on the bottom. So it's more difficult for black to play something like M3.
Yes. There's a question, is there a link to the game on OGS? I think if you go to OGS, there should be a streaming link in the top right. Should be pretty obvious.
The game is at the player US Go.
Oh, and if you also just want to look up the player, it's US Go. Yes, just check that out. If black does something like this, maybe white can just invade from the center. I'm thinking this exchange is already pretty good for white. If black can't do much on the left side, then white just getting the bottom side for free.
I feel like it's anyway risky for white. Like white is playing there where black was strong. So
You think white will push?
just letting black take those points. And
Would this be too big, or do you think this is also
I think white can
Okay.
also get not so small.
Yeah, so the bottom side moyo for white is also very big. I think there's two different approach. One is to break up white, and one is try to just expand our own moyo while reducing opponents. In the game, white chose to invade first. I guess the good news is that white still gets a Hane here and then push. So the bottom side is still more or less under white's control. This move is interesting. It kind of jumps out to me. What do you think?
Like looks strange.
Yeah, my intuition would be either doing something in the bottom or try to attack the left side.
Or capturing ko.
Or capture the ko. This is a big move too. I just feel like the extension is not very urgent.
Like perhaps black could also think about playing a bit further. I mean, something like M17.
Yeah, it's more aggressive, putting pressure on the white group. Now the next move, if black captures a Q17, then the white group is not completely alive yet. Or if black just keep jumping, white probably has to reinforce, and now suddenly the top side is also black's sphere of influence.
Like this move at K16, I feel like it doesn't really give a nice continuation for black.
Yes, I agree. So the problem with this is there's no good follow-up. Even in white Tanuki, like this shape is not very big. You
Like
just basically
we can reverse the order, right? First
Yeah.
black plays at M17 and later black wouldn't play at K16.
right. So you black want to do something more aggressive, and in this case, black just backs off. And in this game, if you notice, black's territory is all on the third line, but white has something potentially very efficient in the bottom. So if white gets something close to the fifth, fourth, and fifth line, while black's only getting territory on the second and third line, then you can already see black will be down in points. The efficiency is not there.
Like actually, also if there is this stone at K16 and the score is not fixed yet, then it looks like black is trying to get their points. But if white wins this ko, then black gets nothing.
Yeah, so let's say there's a ko and somehow white wins. Then the k16 stone looks kind of silly. It's not in a good position. So I think black needs to do something that would directly pressure white. So capturing a ko, as Mateusz suggested, that's one option.
Maybe b15 also instead of capturing, like they're in the
Oh,
corner.
yes. So this move will force the ko. So the next
Yes.
move, if white doesn't respond, black can kill here.
Yes.
So this would be pretty big. But I worry if black plays here, maybe white would try to make some ko threats and then start the ko.
Or maybe black can just protect.
Protect. Guess that'll be a different variation. But yeah, I think the consensus that this move is a bit slow. We'd rather black do something a little more proactive. Let's see what white does. Okay, so white defended. I almost think white can go a line higher, but it's probably not a huge difference.
Like I would play even more.
Even more,
Yeah,
like
something.
you just jump.
Yes. Because later white has also some follow-up, some next center moves on the right.
Yeah, so if white has some stone like in the center area, like there's a very famous invasion on the second line, which might work later.
Yeah.
So black has a little bit of weakness here to worry about, or potentially disattach double hane. So
Yes.
it's not extremely severe. Oh, is the camera frozen? Okay. Yeah, it's not severe in the sense that black will die, but if white gets a few more sente moves, let's say something like this, then white can continue to develop the bottom.
Yeah, so it's like white gets a stronger shape, even though we don't see this yet. After the 06, white is able to get all these moves in center.
Right, then this move is almost sente.
Yeah. So it's like some invisible center for for now with this 06, even though it looks a bit dangerous because it creates still a gap for black to invade. But at the same time, we can assume that white will be getting their several extra moves because of all the center on the right.
So I almost think white might be feeling he's ahead. Maybe that's why he played a slow move here.
Or maybe white is afraid that black will play something inside, and there with this score all the time, something gonna happen. I don't know.
I would say though, if you're afraid of a lot of invasion here, then the original Kema at 04 here, so might not be for you. So if you play this variation, you want to push out to the center, to here. Otherwise, you're better off just jumping here. Then you don't have any weakness to worry about.
Or maybe white can also consider playing at p4, right? If going higher.
Yes.
Like
so
one to the right, so that.
Let's see what black did. Oh, so black started the ko, and white played immediately. Oh, wait, huh?
I don't understand.
Is this the actual game? Huh. Okay, so this is very surprising.
So it looks pretty good for white, right?
Yeah, so we're up to a move 73. We just caught up to the game. Maybe we can get an update on time. That would be great. Like how much time each player has. Okay, so let's go back to the ko. I think something very strange happened. So black play here was threatened to kill the corner. If white tenukis, black can just fix a cut, and now the corner is dead. White doesn't technically have to reinforce black. White can just like try to make a ko threat right now and start the ko because the ko is very big. So potentially white can try to make a ko threat like this. And let's say black Atari here, or maybe black connects, and that'll create a ko threat, and white can then start the ko. That's one option too, because at this point, if black loses this ko, black has committed a move already at b15. So this is very favorable for white. And then the black probably have to find a strong co-threat. And the game, I think white just figured just a simple invasion is good enough. So white just played this. Probably thought it's a
Yeah, like actually,
big enough co-threat.
how big difference is between starting with a ko or playing something to prepare for the ko? It isn't that big, right? Because now black would, instead of cutting there,
Just
black
play
would just take to capture the other stone.
Yeah, very small difference.
So it's like white plays at f18 and black plays at d17. It's like,
Maybe there's more Aji in the corner if without this exchange. But in most cases, it's a very small difference. Oh, 39 minutes. Both players have 39 minutes remaining. So I guess they're pretty early. They both started with an hour, so that's a time control. For all three boards, the time control is 1 hour and 30 seconds by 5 periods of Byoyomi. Okay, so the interesting part is this move by black, because we established that black just needs to either connect or a better move to Atari here to kill the corner. So this capture doesn't really matter. The corner is dead. And if white plays a 2-2, you can push or here. So this is already dead, and somehow black Atari here. And now this is also a ko. So basically black wasted a move here.
and another at k16. Like now it doesn't help at all, right?
Yeah, now a15 is a very strange place. This move is wasted.
Like really this k16 also is
And
like,
k16,
like it doesn't help in any case. Even if black connected, like at f18, this move is very close, right, to the other
yeah,
stones.
it's just too close.
And if white wins this cost, still it doesn't do much.
Yep, and we can scroll to the game finish. So the black won the ko, and we can see that the k16 zone is still a little close. The top left, it's thick as steel. You want something very far away to maximize this influence. So something to very severely attack the white corner. So I think something must have happened to Tony to make this mistake. And extending here is also very favorable for white, because then white got an extra stone at G17A.
Yes.
Okay. So we caught up to the game, and black just responded. I think it's also possible for white to just jump again.
Yeah, this L18, I wouldn't expect it to.
We can see the top side, maybe like A and B are Miai.
Yes.
So the corner is really not in trouble right now, partly also because of the earlier slow move at K16. And if white jumps here, I really don't see a way for black to escape.
I don't see either. Yeah,
Yeah, like
just
if
sacrificable
jumps,
free stones.
right. White can just fix the cut. White just have too many stones here. And capturing these three stones is very, very efficient shape. So now white's bottom. Oh, I heard the camera's frozen. So
Okay, yeah. Okay. We need another way to make a shadow.
Other than
Is this the only thing that we have that can make a shadow right now? I think I have shadow on my computer.
is the stream paused for now?
No. Here. It's overheating. That's why. There's a way to fix it.
No, it's not that computer.
Oh, it's that
It's this
camera.
computer.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So I can't connect. Okay, wait. Let me see if I have it here. Can you type something in chat and explain what's going on? Because right now they have a stream running where the camera's frozen. Where's shadow? I still have shadow.
No camera's fine, says Chad. Chad, can you hear us?
Yeah, no, we're just not connected to the internet right now.
Lost.
We had technical
Wait,
difficulty
Shadow's
last year
updating?
too.
Hmm?
We had technical difficulty
Ah,
last year too for some reason.
Oh wait, no, we are. Okay, actually, we're just not connected. Is Shadow working?
Oh, they said yes.
Try reconnecting.
Yes,
the
we
stream.
can hear and see you.
The stream's all right. There's
Okay.
nothing else lost. You make it to stream.
Here. This one.
Let's restart the stream.
Because if they can see us, then it's fine.
I think it's gonna shut down OBS. We're restarting the stream chat. It's not restarting the stream to OBS. Oh, it worked.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's fine. Okay, we're back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so back to this corner. If the 3 stones are dead, then quick count, this whole area is up to like the 10th line, 7. Like most of this will be white's territory. That is
It's
like
like
80 points in the entire bottom side.
yes.
And black does not have anything close to that. The top left is only 30-ish. And like black needs to kill a group at this point.
Like black probably also killed these 2 stones right at G17. But for doing this, yeah, probably still black will need to make white play at R18, so white will also get several points there.
Okay, let's sync. So we're at this point, caught up to the game. I think we'll probably suggest white to capture the bottom. I think white's probably feeling very comfortable in the game, so they want to. So Shang Dao probably wants to just reinforce the top a little bit, or maybe you thought this might be Sente.
Yeah, but what if black just doesn't play there?
Yeah.
Black can now start playing on the
Right.
lower right.
So now black still complicate the game a little bit.
Before it looked quite simple for white to like get the lead and just moving towards the end. Of the game.
Yeah, it was basically over.
Yeah.
Almost over.
Like,
I think it's still very favorable for white.
but now black has chances.
Yeah, but at least white has 1 weak group in the middle, and maybe 2 combining with the left. So if black can just escape towards the middle center, it's still somewhat complicated. Maybe one quick note about the top. I think usually we think about the shape as like the 1 space extension, or occasionally the 2 space. I think locally this move is pretty practical because you can potentially give you Sente.
Yeah, and if black doesn't play, then white can play at J17.
Right. So the shape here is pretty decent. So compared to the normal move here, you play here, black can kick here, and potentially white wouldn't. And white basically wouldn't get as many points locally as the other variation. And here, if white descends again, I'll say the shape in this case, in this shape, in this scenario is not as good as the other one where white plays 2 Kamos.
Yeah.
Just a small note about the monkey jump. I think locally is a decent move, but in this game, the bottom right is just very urgent.
Like also in comparison with the M17, now when white plays like higher, at L18, after this L18, black might have some extra center moves. So it might be a little bit of help while escaping with these 3 stones at the bottom, right? It's quite far away, but still these center moves like M17, N17,
Yes.
it can still give some help for
So black can potentially get these in Sente, or maybe this move.
Yes.
Okay, so black grasp is probably his last chance and start to find the right side. Oh no, this is my variation. So I'll sync to the game and see. I think this is still the game at move 76. Let's see if I can. Delete this branch so to not confuse the players. Okay, so we're back to here. I think it's very important, like after you make a big mistake, to still stay calm and then find your chances. A lot of times, you see people just kind of fall apart. Maybe their face get all flushed up and just could never recover psychologically from a
Yeah.
blunder.
Yeah, actually, I think this is what the really top players on the world, they are so strong because they don't give up.
Yeah,
Like if you look, for example, in games from Kuje, and like he is losing a lot, and later somehow he still comes back. But I think that's his real power.
yeah, and notice like keep in mind, Black was a winner of the U.S. Open last year. He's the strongest six-on in North America last year. So even he could make a big mistake. So I think no matter what rank you are, what level you are, you should always have hope and not give up. And when you do make a mistake, know that like it happens to people at all levels. Like what happened already happened. You have to work with the current board state and kind of like take a moment, take a deep breath, and restart. Find your chances. Surma versus Auntie. Yeah, I think Surma recently won the European professional tournament. And he had a couple very interesting reversals.
Yeah, I was losing a lot, yeah, but still somehow managed to come back. Yeah, so I didn't give up in those games in both semifinal and final, and somehow managed. If I resigned, then there would be a loss.
Do you
So-
usually have a game plan of like, oh, I messed up here, I'm down 10 points, I want to make up 5 points in this corner and then do something else? Or do you just play like kind of normally and see if your opponent makes a mistake? How do you usually approach it?
I just try to count or more or less estimate if I have chances to catch up if I play normally. If the difference is big and opponent will just make a more or less secure
Very
position,
safe move.
yeah, then if I see that I would be anyway behind, I cannot play like this. So then I just need to make some situations that it would be possible for me to play more aggressively, that maybe opponent will take a bait and later it's possible to attack something bigger.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. If you make a mistake, you feel you're down, or actually even if you're ahead, you try to really assess the board state right now. How much are you ahead by? How much are you losing by? We won't have a perfect count, but I think you should try to be in the ballpark or try to attempt to feel. And later, if you review the game, see what the board state actually was, and you can compare that to your own judgment. So if you're only down by 5 points, I would say you can just play normally. You can basically consider that even game. Like you can easily make a 5-point mistake in the mid game or even end game.
Yeah, 5 points is not that much.
Yeah, so
it's just,
pretty even.
If it's 20 or 30, then
Right.
it's...
That's when you have to work hard. So identify whether you're only down by a little bit or by a lot. I think that's very important. Oh yeah, Surma, what is normal for you? Does that relate to like the magnitude of a normal mistake or?
Like 5 points, it can be cashed up, I think, if just playing normally. So
Yeah.
there's not such a big difference. That, yeah, end of middle game, it can be just
Right.
cut back.
I think 5 to 10 points is still almost even. If the mid game is even somewhat complicated, you can easily swing 10 points. But in this case, I think Black is in the 10-point range behind. It's a lot. It's more than just a little, like a slow opening or a small mistake.
It's like Black player, there's so many times at the top. It's like...
Yeah, Black just spent too many moves in the top left. I guess some people on the Twitch stream is probably just checking AI right now to see if our hunch is correct, that Black is down by closer to 10 points.
Yeah, maybe we are completely wrong.
Yeah, maybe we're completely wrong. But I think Black at this point has to be patient, but Black should probably try to complicate things. Like if you just play normally, I don't think Black will have enough. This is just beyond a normal game, where you can just expect your opponent to make small mistakes and catch up from that. Okay, so Black attach and White Hane. I wonder if Black's trying to cut.
Sacrifice.
Can Black somehow escape? If this is a sacrifice, I think White will be pretty happy.
Why taking the stone?
Yeah, because of white captured the stones.
I mean, instead of 0-10, like black is probably behind, so
Yeah,
maybe
so
no
maybe
need
black
to-
will try something different, attack the
Mm.
side. But locally, white is already very safe. So
Yes.
maybe white wants to try something. Is there something potentially here?
So white tries to take it bigger, right? It's just 0-7.
Yeah. As you can see,
It's difficult
you have
for black.
an aggressive style too. You know, you don't want to just settle for a small kill. You want to just get everything.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Well, it's possible this attack ended up being Gote because white can still run to the center. And if black can seal white here, then black is still in trouble. Although the ladder works right now, but maybe white can escape here. Black still looks pretty dangerous. Black is in danger. Let's see what happened in the game. So they're still at this point. Maybe black trying to verify the variations. I don't really see any other move besides a cut.
Like if black just connects, then perhaps this attachment wasn't.
Yeah, then
That's
it's
nice.
a bad exchange. Then black is better off just to play the Kosumi.
Yeah, but in this case, maybe black could have started with N5 or something like that to be a bit further and still get
so you
some
get
forcing
some
moves.
sente moves first. There's a good chance white might just connect. Or if white push and cut, that might give black ammo. It's more
Yeah.
Aji. So for example, at this point, black can reverse the attacking, the role of the attacker here. And now white is kind of in trouble.
Yeah.
So white can't be greedy on the bottom. White has to really focus on the fight at hand and escape out.
Yeah, so then maybe black can take this one stone and still keep some pressure over this group on the right.
Right. So I think this will be a success for black. So white just connects. We can see this peep is a decent exchange, and now black can.
Even if black plays exactly the same what happened in the game.
Oh,
So
white
maybe
tries
this
to-
one move, this exchange, it can help a bit with moving away with the other stones, right?
It could help. So even if black just do the sacrificing variation again, this peep is
okay,
already a good exchange.
But that doesn't matter much, right?
I don't think it will help black escape
Mm.
at this point. I don't think black can block this. That's probably the problem.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this block. I think white, even from the earlier variation too, I think the thing is white can push first and then lead to some sort of net. I feel like there has to be a way for white to capture black here.
And just normal squeeze instead of this the Atari from the other side.
Oh, this side?
Yes. And no net.
So now black can only do this. And it seemed like a squeeze. White has, white has about 4 liberties on the right, and black only has 2. Yeah, so we're still waiting for blacks to respond here to find his answer. I think it's difficult for black. Oh, and this is a game actually. So he extended. I think that's a little surprising. I'm not sure if this is worth it, since black now also damages the right side. I think black can get something like this in Sente.
Yes.
But black has to fix a cut now.
Or still this N5 to try
Well,
to
the N5. So basically, if white push, black blocks, this is a decent shape.
hoping to get center.
Hoping to get Sente. If white connects, then black later will have a better shape, even better shape here.
Or maybe even possible to play a bit further, like something like N9.
Yeah, so now black already fixed a cut in Sente. I think white will probably do something more proactive, maybe just push and cut.
Maybe.
So even if black can fix a cut, white is already getting a lot in the bottom.
Yes. Yeah, I think this exchange would be good to be made on the very start. This
Yeah,
N5,
so now it's
that
a
white
little
cannot
bit
resist.
too late.
Yeah.
So the problem here is that after white cut, like black, if black sacrificed as like before, there's no good follow on the right side. But white has already escaped to the center. Whereas before, black can see a white in, and white would struggle to find two eyes.
Yeah, also now it's a bit problematic with shape for black because after this exchange, white is able to play this Atari and there is this call, so
Right.
black will connect and
Yeah, so there's still some issue here. So the black did peep and white push. So I think overall, white is still holding on to the advantage he has built from the top left. Even though L18 might be a slow move, I think white is still controlling this fight in the bottom right.
yes.
But I think the game is still a little uncertain because the black will manage to escape. So if somehow white made even a relatively small blunder, the game could become complicated. Okay, I think maybe black is trying something in the corner. This is an interesting move. It's a Redmond Cup named after Michael Redmond. Very good observation. I should have mentioned that. Yes, it was indeed named after Michael Redmond. He was the original sponsor for the tournament. That's why it was named after him. And for those of you who don't know Michael Redmond, he is the first professional 9-dan player who is not from East Asia. He's been competing in Japan for decades at this point. I think he's been there for 30 plus years. And he still competes in their regular league tournaments, like the big Honingbo, Kisei, like those tournaments.
Yeah, this P3, it looks quite nice.
Yeah, I think black is trying to complicate the game. I think the goal is to find some liberty shortage. So white plays here, black can cut. And there's a little bit of liberty shortage. We can see there's some aji surrounding the cut. So maybe this will be enough for black to fix the shape. For example, can black play here or maybe black's cut once? Right, Michael Redmond had a very famous commentary series commentating on AlphaGo games. He also had a lot of commentaries on the e-journal back in the days. His streams are really good too. So let's say if this move becomes Sente, and black can fix the shape better. The problem is the exact sequence is hard to figure out because if black harnesses first, black can cut, white can cut in Sente. So black still can't really capture this stone.
Yeah, so these free stones are a
Right.
bit heavy, let's say.
Yeah, and if white cut here, or if black cut here, if white captures, I think black will at least survive this shape. This will be okay.
Yeah, but maybe white. will
Yeah,
not,
maybe white can just Atari out. I think black is finding some aji to exploit, but the exact sequence is still difficult to figure out. Let's see what happened in the game. So it's still at this point. I think in general, though, this type of move is very good. You're finding weakness in your opponent's shape. And even if you don't see the exact sequence yet, sometimes just probing at the weakness will help you get to the right answer.
Like the most natural move for white, it would be probably cutting, but then we can see this N5 exchange for O5 as an empty triangle creator.
Right. So you probably want the strongest shape for white would be at C instead of B.
Yes.
So then the whole group will be connected, and there'll be no cutting point and no liberty shortage.
So like this, black just made an empty triangle in opponent's shape, and yeah, but just with the reversed order.
And I don't know if it will matter right now, but black potentially had this move sente because of the cut here. So white has to connect or maybe fix over here.
Mm,
That might help black find a better shape in the bottom.
yes.
But I don't really see it right now. Another concern for black is even this push is not guaranteed to be sente. White can hane. And the problem is the right side is just so big. So even if black somehow lives in the bottom, if the right side, if the group dies, I think you'll still be a success for white.
Yeah, like it looks like black captures a stone, so black gets power, but next to this black's group there is a white's wall, so white is pretty safe. Black cannot use it well. It's hard to exploit this captured stone which black took now.
And keep in mind, black doesn't really have too many points either. The top left after the L18 move is less than 30 points. And if you add the top right and the bottom left, black definitely has less than 50 points. And white already has, in this shape at least, yeah, white definitely has 50 plus.
Like here there is still this Aji with core, right?
In this specific shape, there might be a Koaji, but
Maybe instead of Q11, white can also
Right.
think about connecting.
so white can also connect. But in either case, I think the normal sequence will be just to block and give white the cut. But in this game, both because black already made the exchange on the right side and because black was losing to begin with, this normal sequence is not quite good enough for black. Yeah, so it's very similar to what we said. We're up to this point. Maybe we would want to look at the other two games briefly.
Okay.
It might be close to finishing at this point. Okay, so this is a junior division featuring Ethan Fordon, Ethan Woodman, Fordon, and Zhuanshu Lan 5-dan. I think they both won their first round in the US Open today. They should be feeling confident coming into the afternoon Redmond Cup. Okay, so a couple Joseki. What do you think about the board state right now?
Don't know what's going on here in the center yet.
Yeah, so white is probably trying to launch an attack. So if black plays a normal move here, I think white can perfectly escape.
Like I think it looks okay for black. Black doesn't maybe need to try to cut.
Right. So but there's no way for black to directly capture. I think. Is there? Well, what happened in this case? It's a little questionable.
Maybe possible to cut immediately. Like instead of this move, if white plays at M10 and then cuts
M10.
and cuts.
Oh, cut.
Yes.
Oh, so yeah. So now black can't fill liberty right away because white has 5, black only has 3. So black need to do something here. And then white can
yeah.
jump.
Still some weakness to capture these 4 stones, but it doesn't matter if white can capture the other group.
So I think the white's attacking move does work.
Yeah, but how about just protecting?
So black should still be fine in this case.
Like this top left isn't really alive, right? So black can still think about attacking it.
At first glance, it seems like black is doing okay in points. White only has something on the right and the bottom. Black has 2 relatively large corners. I think it's still relatively early. Girls Cup. So black is Stephanie Tan, 3 Dan, and white is Angel Zhou 1Q. Personally, I've known Stephanie for many years because she came from Indiana and while I'm in Chicago. So she has been coming to our tournaments for many years now. So remember when she started as double-digit Q, and there she is now making the finals in the World Cup. Seems like black has a pretty overwhelming advantage at this point because the bottom white group is dead.
Yeah, and white doesn't have anything like, to
Yeah,
cover
not a
it.
whole lot of places to complicate the game. So let's see if we can find something for white. I think the main problem is the bottom left died.
Yeah, like here there is already this L3 move, right? So this Joseki in the corner isn't as
Not
nice
the
for white.
best. So the thing is here, normally I'll say don't push down. You're leaving a weakness for black to exploit.
Yeah, if there are any stones around, like in this case, this L3, it's difficult to play like this for white.
Yeah, and the worst thing is white tenuki at this point. So if white started to fight right away, I think it's still potentially playable.
Yes.
Even something like this, or white maybe Kusumi here and start the fight like that. Or jump. And Stephanie, I didn't mention, is a defending Girls Cup champion. And I think for all 3 tournaments, it's 3 tournaments, use senior division, junior division, and the Girls Cup. There's an online final or online prelim. There might be 2 rounds of online prelims now, so they have to play several games. And then the top 2 from the online prelims make the finals in person. So all 6 players here, they get a fully paid trip to compete in the US Go Congress to play the final game face-to-face. So if I have any advice for Angel, I'll say don't play this Joseki without a lot of stones on the outside. And second, don't tenuki at this point.
Yeah.
But even after this, there should be a way for white to live. Let's see what happened. I think at this point, white shouldn't just give up the 2 stones.
Yeah, they are not as important anymore.
Well, let's say white connect here. So there's no way this bottom group will die now. So if black tries to seal, white can easily live here. And if black tries to attack from the bottom, it wouldn't be very hard for white to just escape.
Yes.
So notice, normally you don't want to sacrifice these 2 stones. But in this case, black is already very strong on the outside and the corner is already alive. So these 2 stones is only worth 4 points.
Even though they are the cutting stones, still black was already quite strong with the outside.
Right. So I say note that the vital stones are always changing. They might be important 5 moves ago, and now they're no longer important. So at this point, if black plays here, I would say white probably shouldn't make this exchange because black's is not very strong yet. But black already made all that exchange. There's already no opportunity to attack. So I think white should just play flexibly and sacrifice the 2 stones. And the quick thing to note is I think white can cut.
Yes.
If white can just settle locally, that would both reduce black's points here and really give black fewer forcing moves on the outside. So I think Angel probably missed some life and death or liberty calculation here. If white cuts here, I don't think the game is really that bad if the bottom also lives. This is a big loss for black too. I think the game can be stabilized this way.
Yeah, it might be not that easy to really kill everything on the bottom.
Yeah. But even at this point, it doesn't seem like it will die.
Yeah, this connection is like there is still echo, at least.
Right. I think maybe this move was the last mistake. So we can imagine the bottom shape base like this. This exchange is sente for white.
So
And if white
it's
just
already alive.
play the simplest move, make an eye, is already alive. I think if Angel knows this is definitely what she will do. Very simple. What black probably still need to fix the outside, and it's still a game. I wouldn't say white is winning, but it's still a long game. And then the last mistake Ms. Masaru was just saying was the connection. Maybe she didn't see how the group is just dead after the block.
Maybe.
Sometimes counterintuitive. Oh, your opponent's like sacrifice 2 stones in your own territory, but all of a sudden you realize you only have 1 eye. This is exactly what happened. It's already not great, but white can still make a call here. It's at least better than nothing. And maybe white can have forcing move or co-threats here. Maybe in the top right.
And maybe the top is a bit bigger. But
Maybe something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think for now we'll say Stephanie Tian is the overwhelming favorite to win the game. We'll check back to this game later. Go back to the senior. Okay, so something very similar happened to what we were mentioning. So the cut happened, black block and white cut as expected. The tiger's mouth. Maybe black's just trying to get some sente moves here. Like it's a forcing move. Maybe black will get some points.
Or an eye.
Or an eye. Is blocking bad?
Then for sure I think it's a good exchange.
Yes,
not
so
for
black
but I think
gains
it's a
some
good
points locally. But I don't think there's much Aji in the corner for now. White can still win this capturing race.
Yeah. So maybe no need to be too afraid.
Yeah. Oh, so the game is actually very
Same.
similar. Yeah. I don't know if black should escape
Yeah.
here.
Probably as a minus now, right? Like white already played there, so black already got some advantage on points.
Right. So if black just Tanuki and later this group lives, so let's say black just do something like that.
Like black still has the end game
Right.
in that corner.
So yeah, the black has the monkey jump. White can make another eye here. Black already forced white to play a move inside his own territory. But now white got the block. So I'm not sure what black's plan here is. So black.
Maybe just black played too fast. This P2.
Yeah, they both have 20 minutes left. Last we checked. So they're not close to Byoyomi. I'll say black's plan is not super consistent. And as a losing side, you really need a game plan. So maybe we can do a quick count of territory to see what's happening, like how much black need to make up the bottom. Later, I'll say this would be sente for black. And we can do a quick count from here. About 55 in the bottom. Let's say just 10 in the top, a few points on the left. So 65 plus for white. There might be some weakness on the right side and the left side, a little bit of liability. For black, let's see. The corner itself is only about 20 points. There's some potential in the top side, in the A and B area. So maybe there's another 10 points, close to 30. But at the same time, white can also play A and make another 5-6 points. So we can't really count the top left to be 30. Maybe close to 20, maybe closer to 25. Top right is close to 10 points. and the bottom left is a little shy of 10 points. So would you agree? Black has a little under 50 points, maybe 45, 50, to be a little generous.
25, 35.
Yeah, 25, 35, a little, not like exactly 10,
Yeah,
45.
probably something like 45.
Yeah, but white already has 55 in the bottom alone, not counting the top and the
And
left
Komi
and the
also.
right and Comey. So if it's 45 versus 65 plus, then
Black
white
needs to
is-
kill something.
Yeah. Well, black needs to kill something. Otherwise, it's easily a 25-point win for white.
So, like about killing, maybe trying to do something that this right side cannot connect with the top, and then maybe trying to play something on the left, so that white would need to escape as well. But now I see that black
Yeah,
already
so
played
black
some
tried to
exchange.
attack, but white just fixed.
I don't see how to kill it.
Right, so this group is now locally alive.
Yes, so this E9, I think it's not the right direction for black to play.
I think black needs to maybe play here first.
Something there that white, like making sure that white cannot easily connect.
Make two
with the
eyes,
other,
yeah.
make two eyes. And then trying to play something maybe like B11 to attack.
Right, so make sure white is not alive locally and have to escape to the center.
Yeah, just trying to attack both groups and cut somewhere in the middle so that maybe there is some chance
So
to kill
black
him.
do have some sente, like A or B. And maybe the goal is to have white run out this way. And black can attack this way to put pressure on both white groups. And if white also escapes, then maybe black can use these sente and to attack one of the groups.
Yes.
So this is the main idea. The problem is white has a lot of eye shape for both groups. We'll clear. Yes. So even if black makes this exchange and do something, white is almost alive with this move. There's an eye here, and white has this move sente, and white has a sente eye. So it's not too hard to make another eye in the center. And the other problem for black is black's own group is also not alive.
Yeah, so probably because of this, it's not necessary to start this attack immediately. Maybe first attacking this group on the left and getting some help so that white cannot counterattack this black's group on the right.
Right. So what will white play? Maybe try to block first. Locally, it's still not easy to kill, I would say. If white black connects, and if white just Hane connect, even Hane play here, Hane connect. Locally, is almost alive already.
But not yet twice.
Not yet. So there's still hope. There will still be hope. In the game, black allow white to live here.
Yeah, so this is quite simple. And now, if white is completely alive with the left, then I don't see much what black.
Or
can
maybe black thinks there's still something. How will white live here? If white plays here, maybe this is still not completely alive.
Like, to make two eyes, white can simply play at B10, right? It's
Yes, so this is a
alive.
B10. A little painful for sure,
yes.
or very painful, but this is a sure way to live.
That's probably just making the game more or less over. Like, even though white would probably feel much more comfortable playing something like E11 instead, right? Instead of B10.
Or maybe here,
Yes.
F11, yeah. I'll say in most cases, this will be the proper move in the shape. But if white is up 25 points, as we just counted, this move is also possible. I'll say this: unless you're up by 25, you shouldn't play moves like this. Even if you're up 10,
Yeah,
this
then
might
it's just a way to lose on
Yeah.
balance.
So black Atari ones, it's a pretty similar. So now white is faced with a choice, whether to take a little more risk, but maybe have a more efficient shape, or just to live without any issues. But it's probably taking a local loss. So white plays here, and black gets a sente move down the outside. Then black has some influence toward the center too.
Yeah.
But the main issue for black is still that even if black gets a lot, like 30 points. Let's see. What's a better way to show this? Even if black gets all of this, it's still not enough.
Yeah.
Because in the process, white will gain some points in the top. In our previous variation, we also only counted 10, but if white gets some force moves, the top we can easily see expanding to like 15, maybe even close to 20 points. And we didn't count this side. And also there's 3 points here. With E11, isn't there D11 to seal it in? Yeah, that's a good point. So I think here, first of all, remember that in this case, the safest move for white don't have 3 points. And if D11 works, let's assume the left is alive, then it's obviously more than 3 points. So it's not necessarily about running out, it's about like the number of points locally. The problem for white right now,
Black might try to kill.
the problem is it's not locally alive. So black has his sente moves on the outside. So this move doesn't quite work. Yeah, someone in the chat said predict live locally. Let's see. Oh nope, white play escaped out.
So black gets a chance. Still
a chance.
small, but still like D11 waiting for black.
Still, they're killing this group locally. It's not easy. If black does something on the outside, white can always live here.
Yeah, so black would need to start with something
Yeah.
like D11. Perhaps.
D11, right. So either black connect here and white connect, or black cut and white capture. In both cases, white is dead locally, but I think it's usually better for black to just connect here. Warp around. So some people suggest this shape.
No.
Yeah, so in some cases, this is actually possible. But in this case, black needs to kill something. So if white lives and lives in sente especially, the game is over. Like white can pass right now. Black
didn't get anything
Yeah.
from this attack, from this weakness.
And now white has 8 points locally. So it's definitely unacceptable for black.
Yeah, but in this case, when white cuts, like white plays this one and black connects, white plays here. So it's possible to let white go a little bit to the center. And then when black is already quite strong with this group here, so this is black's power. So black doesn't need to play anything from that direction. Black instead can play just something, for example, here, and just trying to split in the future these two groups. Maybe it will be possible to kill something.
Okay, so in the game, black pushed here.
It looks slow, doesn't it?
It's probably not sente.
Like
Yeah,
maybe white will just play like P11.
B11?
P11.
Oh, PP.
Like
Yeah. So basically, white can reinforce. White has time now to Tenuki. Well, I think one thing black is worried about is black try to attack the left side. It's possible that white can also start attacking black center.
but then it's risky, right?
Right. So it's risky. But if there's a fight, somehow it goes from the left to the center, and there's another exchange, let's say between the left side and the bottom. I would say in this shape, white was still ahead. So black needs to kill something and not lose anything.
Actually, now I had some idea. Maybe instead of this extension,
Yeah, there might be something else.
maybe
too.
yes, something like this. Maybe it would be a bit more interesting for black. Oh, looks a bit faster.
Yes. Maybe white can attach.
How about Hane?
I think black can clamp. This might be. I think white can capture something
Yes,
here.
yeah,
So
doesn't work.
black needs to think a little harder here.
Or maybe just extend and
Yeah. There's definitely a chance here. But white is still favored.
maybe now Hane.
Now Hane, yeah.
So slowly this group on the right looks weaker. And
I think there's a Shengda supporter here. Shengda better win, otherwise it makes Canada look bad after he won the Canadian Open this year. Well, I guess that's true. That means he's the strongest player in Canada, including professionals. Maybe he will do well in the Masters. We'll have to see. Oh, interesting. So actually, white, Hane ones and Tanuki.
like on points, probably better, right? It's just black gets another stone in the center.
Wait, I think the problem for black now is this white gets Sente again.
Yeah.
So if white now fixes here, white wouldn't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, white can still make an eye at R8, right? So white already has an eye on the right. White is able to make another eye, plus white is able to escape.
Right. Yes, so Shangda did beat Page Lemaster today. So he's 1-0 in the Masters. Yeah, so interestingly, all four competitors in the Redmond Cup won first round. So I think it just shows like the depth of our youth field this year. At this point, I do think white needs to reinforce the left. If white doesn't,
I
would
think
be
I
in
would.
trouble.
I think
Yeah.
I would just relax and waiting for opponent giving up.
Now the bottom is definitely more than 55 points. Yeah, black quickly running out of options. So in this game, the board is just too small. There's no way for black to like get a big center. There's just not enough space. Even black to get the entire center, it really isn't enough. Like even if something like that, that's not enough.
Like now, white already took the several points on the right
Right.
as well. Like with this S11, white got a few points extra in the bottom because of cutting this black stone at K6.
Yeah, so white reinforce, unsurprisingly. I wonder how white will respond now. So we can do something like that. And now white can either live locally or run out. But if white runs out,
Just leaving.
yeah.
It's-
that was, yeah, then it's not live. I guess white
maybe
can
taking
live.
a liberty away.
Yeah. So this is definitely not enough. White can just reinforce again. Is there nothing inside the bottom with K5? Yeah, there's really not a whole lot going on the bottom. So this is the only Sente black has. White will play the bamboo. There's no cut here. So I don't see a way for this Aji to interact with the cut. So I don't think there's anything. So even black plays here, I think white can just Atari.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's nothing in the bottom too. Even black turns and clamped. White can honestly just play here. Yeah, bump. Black doesn't have enough liberties, so I think white can throw in. So black responded locally on the right. Okay, so I think white is alive now. Yeah, so I think Shengda is very cool-headed. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He just needs to make sure every group have two eyes, and that's exactly what he's doing. So white connects, and white can make an eye. Oh, Justin said all 6 of the players won in the Open today. So if you ever come to the U.S. Go Congress or any Go tournament and you playing a kid, even if it's a little kid, like their junior division competitors, um, don't let your guard down, because
They will try.
yeah, they will try, and they have been starting harder than you.
Yeah, so here I think white plays well, like just making sure
Right.
he's alive.
So we caught up to the game. White's alive here and alive on the left. I don't see too many options, any option for black at this point. So barring very major blunders, I think white has this game. Let's see if the Girls' Cup games ended.
Still playing.
Seem like it's still playing.
Yeah, but it looks anyway good for black, right?
Yeah. I think white made a little bit of a comeback in the middle, but it doesn't seem to be enough. Let's go back to the junior game. This might be the most exciting game at this point. Oh, seems like
White
it's also
died.
wrapping up. Yeah, so what's the life and death situation here?
That
Yeah, so there's no cut in the middle. Black is all connected. This cut probably doesn't do anything. Black can connect here, and this cut here doesn't do anything. So white cannot live here. White plays here, black can just peep. So if this group is dead, then I would say we can basically just call the game for black at this point.
yes.
The game is being rewinded. Is the junior game over? I think the game belongs completely to the player. Okay, the junior game might be over. We're just double checking that right now. If this is the final board state, I think black has clearly won. Back to the senior division. I think Shanghai really played well after securing the lead.
Yes.
Didn't really give black a chance. And I don't really see why making really major mistakes or having inconsistencies.
Like maybe this E11 was not necessary.
So Mateo just saying the E11. I kind of like that move.
Like I like to. It's just in this case.
In this case, because you're up by so much, I think that maybe white has other options. I'm sure he weighed all the options and figured E11 is still safe. But I would suggest black maybe to reconsider this move. I think it gave up initiative in a very critical point in the game. Because in the bottom, like this is all a matter of points. And in the end, black actually got a very terrible result because black wasted two moves here. There's the one with the push, and then even later, at this point, black also got gote again.
Yeah, so two moves in the middle game, pretty big.
Yeah, and black didn't get anything in the center while there's nothing here, while white got extra points here, and then white managed to live on both sides. So I think that killed all hopes for black. It's very interesting. So black has 11 minutes remaining, white has 10. So throughout the game, their time usage has basically mirrored each other. I would almost expect black to play slower because black has been behind for most of the game, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
Yes.
Okay, so the junior division is still going on. Ooh. In the Girls' Cup, black has 1 minute, white has 19. This attachment is a wild move, I would say.
Yeah, just blocking.
I don't really just know the purpose behind it, though. Gavin says hi. He's a player I met in the recent Chicago Open. I think the score says still the same as before. The white group is dead. I don't really see a way for white to live here.
Me neither. Possible.
I think there are multiple possibilities at this point, but basically black just needs to play something here.
Mm.
Okay, and then they said the senior division game, there's something in the bottom. Aji in the bottom.
Like also to try to use this RG, I think this O2 could have been a bit like more severe for black.
A little more complicated.
Yes. And then the attachment.
Yeah, it's probably a little more complicated this way, but I just still only see an easy way for black to trick white at this point.
Maybe some ko trying at R2.
R2.
Something crazy.
This would be pretty crazy.
Actually, white can make a double ko, right? Or not really.
I'm sure they can see the double ko.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no double ko.
No double
yeah,
ko.
it's
Like,
pretty close actually.
Double ko could be if black started with this move, right?
Yeah, I guess
So
what black plays here,
now
white
1-1
can start a
and-
double ko. Very interesting shape though. Yeah, in the game, I don't think there's much. So black can get this Hane, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So the peep. This is definitely not enough to live. Maybe black can try attempt. This may be black's best shot. Yeah,
I
there's
don't see a way to
It's
survive.
not enough for 2 eyes. Yeah, this is not even an eye here. I think in all three games, at least both of the Redmond Cup games, one side clearly winning, the losing side is still trying to make something happen. Not giving up early. I think at this stage of the game, it's really rare for miracles to happen, but a lot of times, it really doesn't. Like I think the players, I think psychologically needs a moment.
Like psychologically, it can be that maybe white makes a small mistake, but later he starts to feel not okay, and maybe then possible to make another
Right.
bigger already mistake.
But I'll say this: like, if you're winning at this point, whether you're white in this game, black thing in the other game, you still have to focus. There are definitely plenty of time where people lose from a position like this, even at the top level. So even if your opponent is just playing a lot of random moves, and like seeing that obviously don't work, If they haven't resigned, the game is still on. You can still lose.
Yeah, so better to be focused this
Yes, you always
a
have to be
couple minutes
focused.
extra than
I think depending on how black play, maybe black connect, like why would just live. It's
Mm.
a similar idea as before. Why can afford to give black the center? Let's see the Girls Cup game. Okay, still ongoing. Maybe we can do a quick count again. So let's say white will extend, black can do something like that. So capture is the same. White has 20, almost 30. About 30 on the right side. 20, 30, 35 in the center. So about 65. While black has
maybe with these 2 captures and later also like C8, there is chance for 1 point, later A6 also.
yeah, a little bit possibility.
Maybe like
maybe in
70
peak here.
Yes, also endgame.
Black about 15 the top. And close to 20 on the left. I think combined close to 35. About 55, 57 in the bottom. So total black has close to 90, while white has 65. So I think it's a comfortable win for black. 30 points on the board. 25, closer to 25.
65. This
The bottom?
like, or even a bit more.
Oh, so maybe I miscounted by 10. So yeah, it seems like black is easily 20 points ahead after Comey. Yeah, now I wonder which game will be the first to finish.
Still they are playing.
Or ongoing. I think this push is a nice sequence. White is clearly trying to live locally, so black extend, white will live. And now the push exchange is very good. If white just live locally, then black cut, and now black can block.
Yes.
See the junior. I think white is tempting to make a ko in the top, but it's just not working.
Black.
So the junior game is the first to finish. Black wins by resignation. And Girls Cup, I think they might try to just play it out to the end. We haven't looked at the big opening of the junior game yet,
Yeah,
so
we
maybe
can
we can
check
do
it out.
that. So right now, John Shu has a 1 game advantage, and round 2 will be tomorrow at same time, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be broadcasting as well. This Joseki generally slightly good for black. For what I remember, it's kind of an old Joseki.
Like from this, what I remember, white used to play at E4. I think.
Yeah, something like that. So I guess white tried to just play a very simple variation. I think this move was probably the first obvious mistake. because black always has this push sente.
So after this white's move, there is
Yeah.
no cutting in black's shape.
So black is actually very strong here, and this move is clearly too close to thickness. Right. So now white is immediately under attack. I wonder if black can cut.
Like, I don't understand why black decided to play at c7. I think it's not necessary yet.
Right. Maybe black just want to make an exchange, but I think white play well here. The tenuki is very correct.
Like, instead of that move, black could have played there. So after black plays at g7, what can white do? Like, white's shape will be not as well connected anymore. Like, if white cuts, then black can come back.
Right. Now white separated, and white has two weaknesses to deal with. Actually, this cut is very severe, so white will have to fix somehow.
Yeah, so white's shape is not as nice.
Right.
Like, later we can just see that this f9 at center, so white gets an empty triangle.
And there's still some aji surrounding the g5
Yeah.
cut. So I think either black cut here or cut here. They're both possible. White is in a tough situation here. In the game, even though white started out making the first mistake with the approach, I think after this slow move, I would say the overall result is better for white.
Like, now it's like suddenly black got this move at c10, but
But it's very small. There's not
Yeah.
a lot of points here. Black already have everything basically up to this point. So black also only gained maybe 5 points around here,
and
while white got
got-
ahead, and now this whole thickness. So white recovered very well here. And then white played this Joseki. It can't
Escape.
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's not a ladder breaker, right?
Is it not a ladder breaker? That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
It doesn't work. Okay.
Okay. So that makes sense. This is not a ladder breaker, or maybe white thinks it's not a big deal.
Like, this is a ladder breaker.
Yeah. I think normally it's just good practice to fix the ladder.
Yes.
So without this exchange, I think white should just play here. So later, the first line descent is sente, but also potentially the tiger's mouth.
Like, still this escape is quite big for black. So I think white made this exchange at t8, so that white has this one extra liberty, and white doesn't need to connect the stone, which was at s8, after black escapes with this one stone. But it's still very big.
So that's what happened in the game. Interesting. So I think black should run out.
Just extend or
turn. White's shape is actually not very good. So white definitely needs to reinforce. Do something around here. And maybe black can keep fighting like that.
And this top right corner, I think, is anyway alive. There is this s18. It's possible to
Or
play
like
some attachments from the
R14.
other side.
And white doesn't really have time to attack it right now. So the white has a cut here. White reinforces, then maybe black can run. Try to settle this group. And also in the bottom, there's a very big move around here too. It will separate white's former thickness now is a very weak group. And that even has implication on the bottom left too. There's potential cut here.
Yeah, might be also
Yeah.
annoying for white.
So I think it's a good idea for black to really run out directly. In the game, black chose something a little bit more indirect. I think in some situation it's possible, but in this game, really black's not getting much. So now black just helped white live on the right side.
Like black got a wall, but where to use it, right?
Yeah, and now after this extension, black doesn't have any ice locally.
So if anyway black was going to play at 016, then all these other exchanges, this Q13 and so on, like it doesn't really give big profit for black.
Yeah, so I would think
Anyway,
black can just
yeah, black could
play
start
here
with this.
directly, right? If let's say white plays here, then this move is clearly better.
Or instead of playing from that direction, maybe black can think about sacrificing those 2 stones
Right.
and just playing something on the right, just like R11, if black already thinks about not protecting them. I mean, if black plays there this 016 to make this exchange, yeah, and this N16 like before jumping.
Yeah, so the exact sequence will be make exchange first
Yeah,
and potentially do that.
trying to connect this.
Yeah, and the top right group is not very easy to kill. Even at this point, there will be a lot of Aji. White has to do something like that. And at this point, it's already not very big. If somehow this group escapes, it's only less than 20 points. And black already gained a lot on the right side. And now,
And still possible to
yeah.
attack this other group.
though the Kasumi shape is very strong, black shouldn't be too worried about it. So I think it's a relatively peaceful, even game.
Like this
throughout.
L15, I think it looks a bit slow for white.
Yeah, because both groups are relatively strong. Maybe the bottom, reinforce the bottom is more urgent. Something like that.
Yes.
And before we get to the top left, let's check on the other 2 games. The game's still ongoing. Actually, now black's corner is in
what's
trouble.
going on? Yeah.
So as expected, white lives and then black cut, and now white's trying to attack the top right. So black Tanuki ones, which might be problematic. But at this point, black's down by a lot.
Yeah, so
I don't think it really matters.
it doesn't matter.
Is there a kill? I think locally, white tries to kill. Oh, this is the move I played. This would be it.
Looks like yes.
Yeah, I don't see a way for black to escape. So if black extend, white can just keep pushing. Black Atari, white connects, and white extend.
Jump doesn't make any help.
I think white can just block.
And 016 and cut. Yeah, looks like nothing.
Looks like this might be a
Or maybe starting with P17. now.
P17.
I mean, after this exchange, P17. And cut the other one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, still nothing.
Yeah, still nothing. Detachment. I think white can just ignore and do something like this. I guess moving away from the games a little bit. Fun fact I learned is that both Tony and John Shu, they both learned from Han 5P right now. So he must be very happy that two of his students make the finals in the biggest youth tournament. And his other student, Tony's brother, is now basically the strongest performing pro in North America. Seems like the Girls' Cup game is also winding down. They're playing the very small end game at this point. And back to the junior game. We'll try to figure out how the top left group died. So black successfully blunted white's attack here. I think this is a decent result for black. It's a very alive shape. The Hane here is a very big endgame move. I think a lot of people underestimate how big it is. Strolling through. This is probably where trouble happened. I think it's very likely that white just didn't see this. Like he thought cutting here would be fine.
Yeah,
And then
but
suddenly realized white when white extend black can push. There's a liberty issue.
yeah, at some point maybe I could think about playing at h16, some kind of center.
Yeah, I think it's because white Tanuki one move. So have
Yeah.
white just fix locally. It's
Yeah.
actually a pretty big move too. To just
Yeah, this h16. Just
yeah,
trying
maybe
to
this would be a
end up in
Sente here. Maybe black will Tanuki right now.
Yeah, not really center.
But either way, it's a decent move. Pretty big. Just to fix. And notice here, since white had this move Sente, white still had most of the points here. Yes, so in the Girls' Cup game, Stephanie is clearly ahead. We'll get the final count in just a few minutes. They're approaching the final endgame. Yeah, maybe we can see, like, is white really losing at this point? It might be a close game on first glance. If the top left didn't die, would the game be okay? So capture is about even. Black has one extra capture. So 21 points here. About 20 points here. Maybe slightly more, 21, 22. To 20 to 21. 5 here. About 10 here.
Looks okay for white.
So 20 points on the right side. About 10 here. Like this whole group is almost 10. Almost 10. Here is close to 15. Around 15. So white has 40, 55. Black has 50, 56. So it seems like it's pretty close on the board.
Yeah, it looks better for white.
Yeah, almost look better for white. So it is black's turn, but black will have to fix. And it will be white's turn to play endgame. Maybe do something
on the top.
Yeah, like send something Sente here, and then come back to hit this. Or maybe if white's worried about
Need to cut.
Yeah, maybe even just a monkey jump. This almost looks sente too.
Or actually maybe still starting with this h16 and then monkey jump.
H16, yep. And then this is big. This is actually pretty big too. White seems a little ahead in this position.
Yeah.
I think he just made a very critical reading mistake here and failed to take care of his weak group. Yeah, his one move. White has been playing pretty consistently before this, and in the end, he just played really made a really big mistake, and at this point, there's really no comeback. His group died in the endgame. It's a very unfortunate result for Ethan, but maybe that'll give him some confidence going into tomorrow too, knowing that even though John Shu is a rank stronger, he really only won because of a blunder. So I think we should still have a good game tomorrow. Oh, it seems like the black group survived.
Yeah, but at the same time, white does need to kill.
Right. It's a very interesting sequence of move. Wow.
It was still possible to play Koa. If white captures, black connects, white connects. Yeah, but it's...
Yeah, I guess
It
it really
doesn't
doesn't matter because white is still ahead. Everything's alive. It's still a comfortable win for white. Let's see if we have the final count for the Girls' Cup. They just finished filling Dame, and both players have passed. So I think they're counting right now. Have you played any US pros recently?
No,
No.
for a couple of years I didn't.
Which year did you become a pro?
2015,
2015. Wow. So you were one of the first.
I think I was third. in
Third.
Europe.
Wow. Was the Russian players, Pavel, was he the first?
First was Pavel from Slovakia,
Slovakia,
and later Ali from
Ali,
Israel, and I
and
was
then
the
was
third.
you. How many pros are there in Europe right now?
The EGF pros 9.
Oh, so the EGF, maybe you're more the EGF's more consistent about hosting qualification
Like
tournaments.
now it's going to be 1 pro per 2 years, and like on the start it was
One a
two-
year, two a
2
year.
a year for 2 years, and later it was 1 per year, and later it switched to 1 per 2 years.
Interesting. Yeah, the AGA had 2 per year in the first year, and then there was 1 per year, and there was I think a 3-4 year hiatus, the no pros, and then last year we restarted and then promoted two pros. So being Alex Chi, and Tony's brother Kevin.
Why was it stopped?
I'm honestly not very sure. I do think at one point we were kind of running out of people too. So maybe that's why they stopped. Even the field last year and potentially this year is not as deep as our first few pro quals. They're approaching Endgame. I think white played this. This seemed like a Ascente. So the game just ended. White won by resignation. So both Redmond Cup games are done, and the Girls' Cup game is counting. Okay. So black 94, white 64.5. So our earlier count was pretty accurate. Black has close to 30-point advantage on the board. So black wins by 29.5. I think as a quick wrap up, I think both this Redmond Cup games are pretty exciting, especially the junior division. The game was really close throughout, and at the end, I think Ethan just made the first one blunder, and it was just too big to overcome. And then the top left group died. But he did start out as the underdog because Josh one is ranked a little higher. So hopefully he can just take a night to decompress and come back strong for tomorrow. I think we'll have also several rounds of good competition. So just to reiterate, we'll restart at the same time, 3:15 Eastern, for round 2 of the Redmond Cup Finals and the Girls Cup Final. In the senior game, I think we saw 2 very strong players compete, and they both demonstrated their fighting spirit. I think Tony also made a critical mistake pretty early and struggled to come back from that. Shangda played very consistently after that, knowing exactly what he needed to do. And even when he didn't kill the top left, like he still, I guess, was very cool-headed, just play a couple endgame moves. And that was enough to force Tony to resign. Yeah, I think thank you all for joining our Twitch stream and follow the AGA. This is a week-long, first day of the week-long US Go Congress. We hope to see you in both the rounds tomorrow and the other events this week. And we'll wrap our stream here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching.